If you've ever been flirting with a guy or dating someone and over time you can feel their interests just start to fade, they just started becoming more and more distant, maybe you have a hunch that it's something you did, maybe you're just absolutely clueless. You have no idea why this started happening. In this video, I'm gonna break down a few attraction killers that really drive men away and will give you a little bit more insight into the male mind. I'm Jason Silver. I'm the dating coach for ambitious women, which means women that are mastery driven and are looking for a lifelong, committed, loving relationship. You might be frustrated with the current dating scene. You might be passionate about being in a relationship with a loving, commitment-minded man. And this channel really goes into some of the best ways to break through any of the struggles that you may be experiencing today so you can find and connect with these real high-quality men. So let's jump right into it. One of the more common attraction killers in all relationships is neediness. Neediness is this idea that you as my partner are giving me my own self-worth, my own validation. You're giving me quality time with another human. You're giving me entertainment. You're giving me security. You're giving me money. You're giving me excitement. Whatever it is, it's this idea that my inner needs are being fulfilled by this external person. And when we start putting that level of expectation on another person to fill us, to give us what we need, it places pressure on that person. And typically when people, especially men, are put in these pressure cooker situations, they have a fight or flight mentality, and oftentimes it's flight. They're out of there. It's like too much, too soon, too needy. And the effect that neediness has on us personally is really detrimental. Neediness is basically putting this strong expectation that you need a specific outcome to happen. You need him to act this way. You need him to do that. When we live life and have these needs and these expectations, what inevitably happens is that life doesn't go the way we planned. We don't always get what we want. And as a result of this strong innate inner need that we're putting out into the world, in a way we can never, ever get that fully met. So we're kind of walking on eggshells. It's like, oh my gosh, this needs to be met, and if it's not, I'm gonna go into either being overly controlling, or I'm gonna try to manipulate the situation. Maybe I'm friendlier, or more giving, or more sensitive, or whatever I think I need to be to try to get that, whatever I'm looking for from the other person. Or I do the opposite approach. Instead of kind of trying to manipulate, I become overly dependent, and I just trust and hope that that person will fill me with whatever it is that I'm looking for from them. And either of these, which are kind of on polar sides of a relationship plane, either being overly controlling, and by the way, being controlling does not always manifest as just being aggressive and dominant. Being controlling can be just being super friendly, super nice in hopes that they'll give you what you want. It can be insidious, and we might not even realize that we're doing it. This is really the hard part, because on the outside, it looks like we're doing all the right things. We're being super friendly, we're being very giving and nice, and yet the motives, if we look a little bit deeper to our deeper motives, we're realizing, wow, there's some expectations there. You know, if I do this, I expect that. And the moment that we start placing all of these needs and expectations on our partner, the more pressure we put on ourselves. Now, this is different. I'm already hearing the voices of like the angry comment trolls saying, what are you trying to say, Jason? Are you trying to say that we shouldn't expect anything from a man? Are you saying that we shouldn't, we don't deserve any giving? No, okay? Of course, you need to be with someone that is going to give back. You need to be with someone who respects and loves and cares about you and gives back to you. But there's this idea of when we have a specific need that we absolutely rely or depend wholeheartedly on another person for, that we're not gonna be okay without that other person fulfilling that, that's where the problem comes in. Because at some point in time, any partner you have, even if it's the most loving, caring person in the world, they're not going to fully meet every single need and expectation you have. That's perfection, and I haven't found it yet. If you find it, leave a comment and direct me over to this perfect person. I would love to meet them. So towards the end of the video, I'll give you more strategies to deal with neediness. Just know that if we're not going to be okay unless someone else does something or takes a certain action, we're placing ourselves in a position to be hurt. And that's a problem, and that's where neediness comes in, and this really can drive away a quality person. Now, the second attraction killer is insecurity. And insecurity really means a lack of confidence, us believing that there's some aspect or part of ourselves that's just unattractive, that's unappealing, we're not happy about it, we might feel some shame, some guilt about it. And insecurity is a feeling, an emotion that is very easily transmitted to other people. And if we surround ourselves with other people and we're in this constant state of insecurity, the other person feels that. And it's actually scientifically proven. There's neuroscientists that study the brain. When you are in the room and sharing space with another person, your brain waves start to align more. Another person doesn't want to feel these emotions. And so the more that we have these negative emotions of insecurity, we actually project that onto the people that we're spending time with, and that is an attraction killer. And I'm going to give you a strong example about perspective and confidence and how it can really flip around anything of insecurity that we may be feeling at this point. I was online dating and I was very insecure because I was in the midst of losing a lot of weight. I lost over in total 120 pounds, and during that time I had a very strict food plan. I weighed all of my food, I didn't eat out at restaurants, and I was really insecure, very afraid, because the people around me were saying, Jason, how are you going to date and go out without eating at a restaurant? That's gonna be so weird. She's gonna be eating in front of you and you're not gonna eat anything? How awkward is that? And they kept going on, and I was so insecure about it. And I remember one day, I went online and I looked at this profile. I wish I knew this woman because I mention her all the time. And on her profile, I'm not even kidding here, her whole profile was written in like capital letters. It was all in caps lock. And it said something to the effect of, I'm a fitness model, I cook 100% of my food, so if you want to impress me, you better be a little bit more creative than just dinner and a movie. And I read this and I was like, whoa, wait a second. I cook 100% of my food, but I feel really weird about it. And here you are putting it in capital letters on your online dating profile. First of all, who talks in capital letters on their profile? Second of all, she's telling something that I felt really insecure about as a source of pride. Really showed me the power of personal acceptance. And we may have things that the majority of people might not find super attractive. But the truth of the matter is, life is imperfect. People have all sorts of different challenges, have all sorts of different things that we're facing in life. And the more that we can learn to love and accept the imperfectionism of ourself, the more that we can actually project confidence, security, and the feelings that other people really want and other people are inspired to have. And if we can take something that maybe our society might consider unattractive and we can face that with complete love and acceptance, the amount of attraction that can create is really, really powerful. So just know that feelings of insecurity could really be a big detriment to a relationship. Now, the third attraction killer, I'm going to relate this to royalty. This is not acting like a queen. Now, what I mean by that is, if you can imagine the woman that you respect most in this world, someone you truly admire and look up to, it could be a mentor, a friend, a relative, or it might be someone that you don't know personally. It could be a famous person, it could be someone from history, that you just look at this person and say, wow, the way that they walk through life, it's just incredible. They're inspiring, they're noble, they are confident. When you look at this person and think about how they would act in certain situations, and then compare that to how you act in certain situations, there may be a gap. Now, how wide of that gap really determines your level of attraction. So for example, I actually force myself to go into an office every day when I go to work, because if I didn't, it would be way too easy for me to work from home, to maybe not shower, to maybe not get dressed, but that wouldn't feel good to me. I wouldn't, I feel so much better about myself when I wake up and shower and exercise and get dressed, and I take the actions that I would imagine the man I respect most in this world would take. That he would treat himself healthfully. He would give back to others. He would take care of his obligations. He would act with a certain nobility. When no one was looking, he wouldn't just sit around and act like a horrible person. He would act the same exact way when no one else was watching him. And if he did something kind or giving to another person, he doesn't need to go out of his way to tell everybody what he did. That's who he is. He's not doing it for the validation. He's not doing it for other people. He's doing it because that's the right thing. because he's living a truly noble life. And that's the man that I imagine. And if you can imagine this as well of the woman, if you are taking actions in your life that are far from the woman that you admire, imagine what that's putting out into the world. Now, I'm just gonna assume that 95% of the women watching this video do not have an issue with this, because this channel really does attract some very ambitious, smart, intelligent-driven women. However, it's something to be aware of. It's something to really think about, because it is an attraction killer when we don't act in a way that is attractive to higher quality men. The way we might be acting might be attractive to some people, but not necessarily the types of people that we want to attract. It's something to think about and have perspective on and to be aware of. But here's the bottom line. You're aware of these things, but you're thinking, okay, great, Jason. Maybe I did something, maybe I didn't. The point is, the guy is going away. He's losing interest. What do I do? How do I deal with this? I get it. So let's look at the fact of the matter. Chasing this man will never work. And by chasing him, what I really mean is taking any action that you possibly can to try to lure him back in, to try to re-attract him. If you're trying to somehow get a guy who's moving away from you, inevitably it's going to be a problem, because what you're doing is, here's a guy who is doing something that's unattractive. He's not giving you attention. He's not treating you the way that you maybe would like or need to be treated. And so we train people how to treat us. So here he is ignoring you, pulling away, and you're going to go into overdrive to try to attract someone to you who is not treating you in the way that you need to be treated. The solution here is actually a little bit counterintuitive, but what you have to do is the opposite. You actually have to let this guy go and begin focusing on yourself. Now, you may want to shut this video off right now and say, that's not the solution I want. That's too painful to think about. Here is the bottom line. That pain that you're thinking about letting someone go who's ignoring you, that is the exact pain that is the doorway, that is the direct path to the right person. Because that path of pain is basically you saying, I am going to find a way to be okay. I'm going to be able to accept that I can't continue to depend or rely on other people to fill myself, to find that happiness, that fulfillment. That's something that's only gonna come from my own actions, my own spiritual relationship or connection, my own internal relationship. If you can't reach that point where you can accept that, then you're always going to be in a place of dependence or reliance on someone else. I can't imagine and would never want to imagine my life without my wife. I wouldn't want to imagine it. But if I'm so dependent on her that I will shrivel up and fall to pieces, well, that's a problem, because I have people who rely on me. I have, a little son and a little daughter that depend on me. I have people through my career, my community. I can't be someone who can just shrivel up. So the bottom line, if a guy is pulling away, if he's starting to ignore you, act like a queen. And then what a queen would do in a relationship, if a man is not giving her what she needed, she would draw a boundary. She would put up a red velvet rope and say, hey, listen, I'm letting you into my life, into a relationship with me. However, there's a bit of a red velvet rope here. Just like you see the red velvet ropes in front of exclusive movie premieres or restaurants or nightclubs, there should be a red velvet rope in front of your life. And it's a boundary. It's a boundary saying it's really important that I be treated this way, and I'm not being treated this way, and that's not okay for me. And either he changes, or it's time for you to act like the queen and move on and focus on your passions, focus on being helpful and giving back to the people around you. It's about taking actions and doing things that fill you up, that give you that level of confidence. And it also means, if you really do desire to be in a loving, committed relationship, it means for you to get out there and to try to meet other men. Even if you really like this other guy, it's best for you to put the effort in to meet more different higher quality men. At the end of the day, if someone's ignoring you and you're going after him, it's only going to be unattractive. So maybe if he sees you valuing yourself, going out there and meeting other people, it will change his perspective a little bit. He may start to see or value you in different ways. And at that point, he may really try to get you back. And then it's up to you to really determine if he really is the type of man that you deserve. If you found any bit of this video valuable, please hit the red like button and become a subscriber of Attract Great Guys, because I go through and I share a little bit more about men, the male mind, revealing to you how to connect with higher quality men, where to find these guys. I know it can be a frustrating experience sometimes dating, so become a subscriber and like this video if you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for the next video where I'm going to be going deeper into how to meet and where to find these higher quality men. Thanks so much for watching. Take good care.